श्रेष्ठ कर दिखाऊंगी, औरों से अलग हूँ दिखने में, कुछ अलग करके ही जाऊंगी। चाह नहीं है एक अलग नाम की, इसी को महान बनाऊंगी। नारी हूँ मैं इस युग की, नारी की अलग पहचान बनाऊंगी। नमस्कार, गुड इवनिंग, आदाब, सत श्री अकाल। Welcome everyone to this weekly show by Global Talent Consulting. I, Shafali, owner of Young Minds Consulting Services, which is into HR services. I'm the host, moderator, and the host for the day. Today's show is about hashtag Women Power. The movement is started by Sir D.K. Bakshi, who is a global leader, a famous global personality who doesn't require any introduction. Women empowerment is something which is very close to him, and that is why this global show. This women movement has already started globally, and I think it is almost in 20 plus countries. The mission is to unite 100,000 women by the end of 2021, and by 2024, we plan to reach 1 million women. I'm pretty confident that we will definitely reach this goal before 2021 and before 2024, because the way we are progressing, the way we are touching women, and the way we are touching lives. So first of all, thank you so much, DK Bakshi sir, for trusting me and giving me this opportunity to be a host at this platform. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are on Zoom, we are Facebook Live, we are live at Global TV. बने रहिए मेरे साथ और चलते हैं आज के शो की तरफ. So today we have three powerful women, three beautiful women with us. They'll be sharing their journey, their challenges, their success, and their story. Looks like the total all over India is connected with us today. I'll tell you how. So we have today's concept, we have designed very differently. Let me quickly take you through the theme. So for our first speaker for the day is Ms. Harini Srinivasan from Amchi, Mumbai. She is Partner Semco Style, ex-Chief People Officer, Worli, India. She is famous as hashtag Express, and her beauty is she sleeps only 3 hours out of 24 hours. Yes, 3 hours only out of 24 hours. And I don't get to get inspired from her. That's joking. She's a true inspiration that itself talks about, how much motivated she is. So she'll be talking today from women in HR perspective. Welcome Harini Tai to this talk show. तुझा कैसा असले? Just trying to
मराठी का क्या कर दिया? नमस्कार.
वो जानकर गया जिसे आप सही से बोलें.
It's wonderful being here, Shefali, and it's wonderful being here with two other people who I know very well. So this is going to be an amazing evening for me. And right here from Amchi, Mumbai, Kasakai Mumbai Baraheka. That's what you're supposed to say.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Nidhi Datta, leads donor relations at IIM Ahmedabad. Born and brought up in the city of Nawabs, Lucknow. A postgraduate in MBA in marketing from Lucknow University. A cheerful heart comes with a contagious smile and an amazing strength to face life's challenges gracefully. She'll be talking from a woman's perspective of what challenges a woman faces while rebooting her career. Welcome, Nidhi, to this talk show. Kem Cho, Gujarat.
Madama. And hi to everybody. And thank you, Shafali, for inviting me on this platform. And yes, I look forward to speaking with, interacting with all of you.
Thank you so much. Finally, we have Ms. Vatsala Banerjee from NCR. She's an L&D expert working with Samsung and has worked with organizations like Cadence, GMR Group, and others. Being an L&D expert, a life coach, she'll be talking from fitness angle, women from fitness perspective. We want to know how L&D and fitness are related. Namaskar, Vatsala.
Namaskar, Shivani. Thank you so much. I was finally thinking that which language are you going to use? Abhi kya bolne wali ho?
So in fact, I realized we are all misplaced. हमारी भाषा कुछ और है, लेकिन हम रह रहे हैं किसी और शहर में जहाँ की भाषा कुछ और है. So that's another thing which is common for all of us, I guess.
Yeah, that's why in the beginning I mentioned that India is talking today.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So once again, बहुत बहुत स्वागत है, दिल से स्वागत है आप सबका आज के टॉक शो में. बहुत बहुत तालियां आप सबके लिए. I think all audience is on mute, so I'll just take this honor for everybody. For audience, welcome all of you to this talk show. And I hope you'll enjoy this session. I'll try to make it as engaging and as interesting as you can. Please feel free to post your questions in the comment box, and I'll try to take up all the questions. And I think our panelists would be more than happy to answer all the questions, because these are very beauty and brains are sitting in front of us together. So definitely they'll be very happy and glad to answer all the questions. चलिए मेरे साथ आज हॉट सीट पर है 3 ब्यूटीफुल लेडीज और आज हम अपना टॉक शो स्टार्ट करते हैं. सो हरिणी, माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन गोes to you. We would love to know from you, Harini Srinivasan, as a women HR expert. Over to you.
Well, you want to know about me, my story?
Your story as a women HR expert.
Okay. So I love my alter ego. Okay. So I would love to bring Anamika into this picture. So whoever knows me knows Anamika as well. Anamika is my alter ego. I lived through Anamika in many of my sessions. So Anamika and Ashutosh joined HR together. Okay. So they entered into an organization together in the same batch, and they are pretty much going through the same induction program. और होता कुछ इस तरह उस कंपनी में suddenly there is a strike called out by the building maintenance people and the facilities management people. So जो outsource किए हुए जो office boys वगैरह है, the janitors etc. there's a strike. और ये जो नए entrants है HR के अंदर, they are assuming that they have to take up and do different roles, including maintaining the office as well. आशुतोष और अनामिका दोनों हैं HR के उस टीम में. And suddenly what you notice is HR team में all the women who are there, they all end up automatically gravitating towards maintaining the office clean, ensuring that all the cups are washed, ensuring that plates are washed and neatly stacked, ensuring that the desks are clean. And all the male colleagues in the HR team are actually doing pretty much very different things which are associated with moving machines, computers around. अनामिका ये सोचने लगी कि हमारा जो MBA course है वहाँ पर there is no differentiation between genders, right? But why is it that when we come to the corporate world, we still carry with us a gender bias in our minds? So what Anamika notices right here, and what she wants to change is that break those barriers right there. And she ends up bringing about gender neutrality in whatever she does in HR. So धीरे धीरे जब Anamika, she grows, she becomes an HR manager and she becomes an HR leader. If you look at all the things that she has done in the HR world, it's all about creating a gender neutral atmosphere. ये जो शुरुआत में जब हम देखते हैं, अगर उस चीज को उसी वक्त you just take care of it and you nip it in the bud, then these things don't grow in an unalarmed manner. What really happens is a lot of times we sit back and we take it within ourselves that this is what it is meant to be, और खुद को challenge करना भूल जाते हैं. So here in my story, that's what Anamika did, and this was an example, this was an analogy I gave, but in real life, me, also known as Anamika, my alter ego, all that I have been doing is challenging status quo, finding my path through, territory which I have never put my foot in, all unknown territory. And I always tried to do things which are absolutely gender neutral, so that I pave the way for more women to come.
I think that's really something very beautiful. The Anamika name itself is a very powerful name. Till now, I used to know you through as #HS Express. So I got the new name of yours today as Anamika. And yes, in the corporate world, you mentioned that gender diversity, gender bias, you intended to change few things. But finally, what happened? Were you able to change things as per your own will, sweet will?
Yes, definitely. It's all about how persistent you are in wanting to drive the change that you want to drive. You make a good start. There are people who support you, and there are a lot of people who think you're out of your mind. This happened with Anamika as well. But at every point of time, what set her apart from everyone else is she never wavered away from her purpose. Uski jo disha thi, or uski jo nazar thi on where she wanted to achieve, where she wanted to drive women and fellow colleagues to, was, wo ekdam barqarar rahi. She never wavered from that. And that persistence, I think, is what was the real key. Lots of obstacles came her way. She kept going through them. She swam through deep oceans when she was pushed down. She was pushed down hills and she flew. All the time, the objective and the goal was the same, that to make this space in HR absolutely gender neutral. Because everywhere you see, there is a perception that HR is a women's world, which is great. It's nice to have a women's world because there is it's a women-centric function. But what has happened is, because it is women-centric, the unnecessary perceptions about women being able to do only certain things have also got associated with HR. So my endeavor was to change that through Anamika, through stories of Anamika and my own self, by finding out what are the things where one can take ownership on tasks in HR where you're doing things which are gender neutral. For example, understanding numbers of the organization, understanding the business, driving the business, not only blowing balloons and doing rangolis. HR is not restricted to that alone. Because it's a women dominated profession. It doesn't mean you're only catering to making the place a happy place for all people, but it's also about making it a high performing and a powerful place. So I have been able to do that wherever I went, only because I kept giving a consistent image, a consistent message.
I think persistence is what I picked up from your talk, Harini. So thank you so much for sharing. Coming to Nidhi. Nidhi, as I know that you will be sharing your journey from a perspective of women who is rebooting your career. So I would like you to share your life's journey, especially the interface between personal and professional life. Please, over to you.
Thank you, Shefali. So here, what happens is, like many other girls, even I will believe in a fairy tale. And I was actually brought up in a very caring and protected environment of an extremely loving family. So what happened was, if I used to meet my nankas, I was there, adorable darling. Meeting my dadkas, I was there, adorable darling. Wherever I used to go, there was so much of appreciation around. So you sort of start believing that that's what life is, and that's how anybody and everybody would meet you, and you'll be an adorable person always, and that will be the acceptance from everyone in life. When till the reality check came in, and my life's experiences actually compelled me to revisit my perceptions and evolve as a stronger individual. From a young dependent girl to a mother of 2 children now, I have worked very, very hard towards emotional resilience and financial independence. So actually what happens is that in life, when you are so much into supporting your children, your looking after your children at home, your in-laws, and supporting your husband in his career growth, especially where my husband's career involved a lot of multiple transfers. So it's just next to impossible that you don't lose your self-identity and confidence. And that's exactly what happened with me too. And before things became irreversible, I thought, let's take charge of my life and my career. And kick-starting the career wasn't easy. It's so much a task. It's so much a task to be stepping out of those 4 walls, and it's so much of preparation on the inside than on the outside. And it was like I had to prepare my mind and re-engineer the whole thing and re-engineer myself too. So I still remember this interview that I had to go for when I was trying to start my career again after 6 years of my marriage. I was starting my career. So this interview that I had to go for, I was so well prepared that I'm going for the interview, but I'm gonna be rejected. So I was going for the interview with that mindset that I'm coming back with a rejection. But yet to gather that courage to be able to go for the interview where you've pre-decided you're coming back empty-handed. I did gather that courage. I went for the interview. ये इंटरव्यू के लिए जब मैं जा रही थी मेरे को आज भी याद है एंड आज भी I get goosebumps remembering that interview. I was so damn nervous. मतलब I had butterflies in my stomach and I did really not know कि मैं वहाँ पे क्या बोलूँगी, वो मुझे पूछेंगे कुछ भी तो, क्योंकि इतना श्योर हो जाते हो, आपको ये फीलिंग इतनी स्ट्रांग हो जाती है कि हम जिनके साथ रह रहे हैं उनके साथ में डेली बेसिस में छोटी छोटी चीजों में रिजेक्ट हो रहे हैं. How would somebody who doesn't even know me accept and take me in the organization? So this feeling was getting so heavy on me and extremely nervous. I still went for the interview. और जब मैं वहाँ गई, उन्होंने, I mean, what I think perhaps worked in that interview was that my honest communication with them. I was extremely transparent, and here I was. I had the job in hand from one of the topmost banks in the country, and so yes, I came back with the job, and that's how my career took off. And I have now I have 10 years of diversified work experience during this 21 years of my marriage, and it's majorly service industry that I've been in, focused on marketing, branding, and client donor relations. So last 5 years of my career have been without a break.
Awesome,
But
Nidhi.
I'm
So
here
I
to like
think,
to say there was a quote that I had read somewhere, and I would just like to say that quote, that the strength of my soul was born on the back of moments that brought me down to my knees.
Wow.
So I
that's
think
how.
that's amazing, Nidhi. You shared your journey with us, and inner engineering is the point which I picked up from you. I can just name you as Jhansi Ki Rani. Coming back to the profession after so many years, after a break, it takes a lot. I understand that. So thank you for sharing this with us. Now coming to Vatsala, we know you are an L&D expert, and you are going to talk from women's perspective in fitness angle. I know a lot about you. I've seen you, your transformation I've seen at your social media posts and a couple of other places. We commonly say that when a woman takes care of her health, they become their best friend. So what will you like to say about this?
Shefali here, I would rather share my practical experience and what about my life story. So my career started in way back in 2000, right? When I passed out from MBA, it was going pretty well. Thought of joining in an Air Force, couldn't join. Finally landed up in a job wherein I was handling knowledge management and HR vertical, training vertical. And just before marriage, met with an accident wherein I had a severe back injury. Basically, I had a fracture in my backbone. So two of my discs actually got fractured there. Was bedridden for almost a year and a half. And I remember my good team used to come every day to my place. And we were in a nuclear family at that point in time. And this is okay. So this part is just after marriage. Before that, okay, so 1 year I was bedridden. My parents took care of me. The doctor said that don't get married. You will not be able to conceive, and things like that happen. So that time my organization supported me very well, made me do certain work which I was able to do at home. Finally managed to walk on my legs and got married. After marriage, one day I was going to office, again in a rickshaw because my office was like 15 minutes. And again, a car kind of hit me from back, fell on the road, again broke my disc. So this time all three went. So the two previous one and the new one. Again got bedridden for 1 year. And that time my team used to come to my place just to manage and help me with the food during lunch hours, because my husband would, leave for his work. So what he would do is he would leave the door open, behind, the rear door open. So 1.5 year went by. And then I used to see that I used to feel pity, because I was a go-getter all this while, more like a tomboy, doing everything on my own, taking care of others and all this stuff. And I used to feel pity that, I'm lying down, my team is coming, helping me out with the basic things, getting me food, getting me medicine. And to an extent that because of steroids and the things I was taken, I was hardly able to go to the washroom even, and I would need support, because that was the impact of the medicine. That time something clicked in my mind that, was this is not how things gonna work, I need to get up. And probably that was the mental strength that made me walk again, and recover faster, because otherwise allopathic, ayurvedic, homeopathic, naturopathy, everything was done but nothing was working. The only thing that worked was my mental strength. And the day I decided that I need to walk and I need to be on my own, took me on my feet. Time went by, I started walking in. The doctor said, you can't put on weight. All right, I can't put on weight. So what do? Let me hit the gym. Somebody said, do yoga and all. I said, okay, I'll do yoga. So I did yoga. So that was the first time when the fitness got in. I was introduced to fitness. Why? Because I never wanted to put on weight. Otherwise, my back would get hurt. Then gradually, I thought that probably let me hit the gym. So thankfully, my office, Stereo, they had a good gym and a good instructor. He helped me in the workout, but that was basic cardio I would take. I did that, managed to maintain my weight and everything. Then my daughter happened. Okay, my daughter was born in 2006. Again, a reverse gear on my health took place. I got thyroid. So whatever weight I had gained during pregnancy, I lost suddenly. So from 86 kg, I came down to 42. I was very happy because I lost weight, little realizing that it is actually impacting me mentally, emotionally, and in all ways. I used to have mood swings and other things. It was impacting my productivity at work, not in and at home as well. I was not talking to anyone properly. I managed that and recovered with homeopathy. I said, I'm not going to go on a thyroid medicine because this will impact my child since I was feeding. I said, okay, let me take that. 1.5 years, I got cured from thyroid. After a while, I realized that because of, I don't know, medicines or what, suddenly my lymph nodes started swelling in my neck. And that's when, a story came up that these nodes that you have, they seems to be carcinomic. And they said, we'll run a test. That report is going to come after a month or so. And carcinomic means cancer. So I told my husband, listen, if I get cancer, I'll not get treated. I'll live like this. But I want to live my dream. I want to drive down to Leh. And I want to drive. So I said, oh, he said, okay. So we went all the way to Leh, came back. Finally, thankfully, it was not carcinomic, but for 1.5 years, I was on medicine for tuberculosis, which was a lymph node tuberculosis, and something which is rarely found in a normal tuberculosis. It was something which was really found in animals. So one animal that I was. Again, those tuberculosis medicine had their amazing impact, and I gained weight. And I remember from 42, which I got during thyroid, I was back to 78. And if you look at my picture, that 78 kg Vatsala who was there, while she was running, doing everything, all the tasks, because that's how she had been, it impacted me so badly internally that my confidence level and everything dipped. But somewhere in my mind, whenever I used to look back and think that how I had moved on over the years, I realized that no, boss, I need to take care of my fitness more than anything. Because my health, my fitness, my physical fitness is impacting my mental fitness. And my mental fitness is impacting my moods and my productivity at work and at home. And everything is so damn interrelated. And it's women who is supposed to take care of everything. So if I want to continue my journey as a successful career woman, as an L&D professional, I need to take care of my health. If I want my daughter, who was born in 2006, to be on her own and to be an independent kid, I need to take care of myself, to take care of my husband and the other things which I want to do. I wanted to trek. I had amazing dreams that I had. And that's when fitness occurred. So almost like 1.5 years back, again, I should rather say, the real hit came during the lockdown. So for all these years, I was struggling that I would come back from office tired, really tired, that I would not feel like, making a cup of tea for myself. I would drag myself to make a cup of tea. But when lockdown happened and all maids were taken away and I became the maid at home, then I decided that I need to take care of my fitness. My cousin used to push me to join a group called Fitter. So they are into fitness. It's an online fitness community with coaches supporting. And I joined there. Trust me, 3 months blindly, I gave it to Fitter, wherein it was not about dieting. It was not about leaving food. It was having a proper nutritional quantified diet along with basic workouts. That was all body weight exercises. And when I did that, I not only lost weight, I actually got my internal confidence back. My energy level went up, my productivity went up, my performance went up. And all of a sudden, I could, when I, after a month or so, I saw following that plan, I saw myself, I had already lost 5 kgs and I was slim and trim. My skin was glowing, my energies were high, and more importantly, my mental health improved. So from that nagging and irritated and angry Vatsala, I was like that happy and lucky going Vatsala without any mask. So all this while, for all these years, I was wearing that mask of smiling and chirpy Vatsala, which I was not, because that's how I wanted myself to be projected as being an HR professional, right? Because that's how you want to want others to be known. But this fitness journey that I have taken on, it has actually made me remove that mask and be what I am. So today I'm in Samsung. While I take care of L&D, I'm also managing employee well-being and CSR. And also I'm going through a nutritional and fitness course and giving life coaching to others. So for a woman, if she wants to empower others, take care of others, it is extremely important that first of all, she should take care of herself. That self-love is really, really important. If you don't love yourself, if you don't love your flaws, you can't appreciate others and you can't transform anyone. So for transforming others, first of all, transform yourself. And that is extremely important.
I think that's amazing, Vatsala. So glowing skin and self-love are the words which I picked from your talk. So thank you for sharing. And yes, we all got goosebumps, I think. I believe from whatever you have shared, whatever fitness you have gathered for yourself, and whatever health challenges and mental challenges you were going through. So just to summarize, women can do wonders in any field, be it HR, be it rebooting their career, be it fitness. It's just that they should have the power in their mind and they are a go-getter person. So thank you once again, all of you, for sharing your beautiful journey with us, the ups and downs in the journey with us. Thank you so much. Coming to our next question. Quickly, Harini, I would request you. So you have already shared your journey. I would request you to, give us an example of ice breaking. You did a lot of things, whatever you, with your perseverance, whatever you wanted, you achieved that. So any example you remember where you have actually broken the ice in your HR career?
Yeah, I have quite a few interesting such examples. So, one of my stints now, I've actually journeyed through HR deliberately, going into different industries each time. Because one of the myths I always wanted to break is HR is industry agnostic. So we ourselves make the mistake of saying that we want to hire HR team members from the same industry, which is really not required. What we need to bring in is a lot more diversity in the thought process. So in my journey in HR, I moved from ITES to manufacturing to project management to consulting. So in the manufacturing business, when I entered, it was a completely different ball game from the IT industry. The mentality of people was very different. The way they would approach situations was very different. Right from the way they would interact, it was very different. So there I had a very senior colleague who was heading operations and also the plants. They were all reporting into him. He was a vice president in the manufacturing company that I was in. And he has grown from the ranks. So he already had a certain mindset of the business and the operations being a little more, higher in the hierarchy than a support function like HR. That was a mindset, and it is a traditional mindset. I wouldn't blame anybody for it, but that's how they have grown in the ranks. So he was someone who would pick up a chair and throw when he's angry about something. So people had told me that, look, you have to be very careful of this gentleman because he's not so much a gentleman, because he could, when he gets angry and he gets ruffled very easily, and you go and give him all your gyan about what is to be done and all of that, he's not going to take it. So you better be careful of him. So what is happening is the HR team members they preferred not to communicate much with him because everybody was scared of his tantrum. They were scared of his abusive behavior because it could be seen everywhere. It's actually visible. But my thought was, why is he like that? And me being a behavioral scientist, I always take a step back and look at what is it that drives the behavior? Because to my mind, no one is intentionally the behavior that they display. There are things in the past, there are situations which actually make them drive the behavior. So I always was curious to see what is it that is driving his behavior. And I wanted to get hold of that. So in that quest, one such day in the cafeteria, he was seated behind me, and I finished my lunch and I got up. And when I got up, obviously I pushed the chair back and I got up, and my chair actually hit his chair. And suddenly there was an awkward silence in the cafeteria. Yeah, now there's going to be a fight because I very innocently pushed my chair back. My idea was not to hit him, but he was someone who would flare up with that. What I did is I took that as an opportunity to break ice. So I said, here is a situation where his abusive behavior can be triggered. And I said, let me catch hold of that situation and let me cut short his abusive behavior then and there. So I said, oh, I'm so sorry. I hope I didn't hurt you. And he had never seen that behavior from anyone. What he had seen is either people would just fly away from there, looking at, when he gives you that look, or if it was anybody else who had the courage to face him, would probably counter him, expecting that he would flare. But here was someone who politely, caught hold of that behavior of his and did not allow him to flare up. You won't believe he became one of the biggest sponsors and advocates of HR throughout my journey in that organization. Unfortunately, he had a very short life and we lost him very soon. But there was someone who, anytime I would bring up some initiative to drive or some change in what we are driving, he was someone who would stand with me and say, this is a brilliant thing and I'm sure it'll work and you can pilot it in my department. So someone who was considered a terror, understanding what is it that drives that behavior. If you're able to take a step back, find out that opportunity and do not let it go and play your cards over there, you can actually convert. And I've done this not once, many a times. There have been people who have been cold. There have been people who have been abusive. There have been people who have told me that the position of HR is down there on the floor. These are all the kinds of behaviors that I have noticed, but at no point of time did I feel that I'm facing the behavior. I always went behind the scenes. What is it that is driving that behavior? Who is the director for, the behaviors are just like actors in a movie, but who is the director? And go and talk to the director and change the script slightly from there. So that's how I pretty much broke the ice with people and, curbed animosity and coldness and abusive behavior. And the advantage it gave to me to the HR profession was that wherever I have worked, I think HR and women in leadership actually got to face a lot more credibility of what they're bringing to the workplace.
Awesome. I think this a courageous women like you can do, because otherwise generally the trend is that we go with the flow.
A challenging status quo is something that I've been brought up with, and I think that's probably in my DNA, and that's where it helped because it's very difficult for me to accept that someone can behave like this. So obviously there is something that's driving. So I always go back to see what it is.
Right. So here Anshul writes it very correctly, catch the director, not the actor. And that's what you did. Right. So thank you for sharing. Coming to Nidhi. Nidhi, quickly, can you just share what challenges did you actually faced while you were rebooting your career?
So yes, and why did I at all think of coming back?
Yes, that was my
work?
next question
Yes,
actually.
I'll cover all of that. Um, so I'll continue from where I left. So this job that I just mentioned in the last question as an answer. Um, my son was 4 then when I started working with this bank, and I was managing the home front, the office front, as we women are expected to, because घर घर कभी छूटता नहीं है चाहे आप कुछ मर्जी बन जाओ in the professional area. So the house responsibility you can't ever run away from, and so that was exactly what was happening. And I, over a period of time, my career came to a hard stop when I conceived my second baby, my miracle child Avika, and I call her a miracle baby because she's been that, and I just love that period of 7 years of break that I took when I had conceived her, and I cherish those memories so much of being with children 24/7 and growing them up. Probably that's the reason why we have this stronger bond today. That I'm here in Ahmedabad and they're still supporting me and they're staying without me there in Delhi and managing on their own. So yes, probably that's helped us, and they understand me better. Um, it's So what I was saying was that during those 7 years of giving time to my family, growing up my little one, um, I somewhere just didn't realize that I'm letting everybody take me so much for granted, that my self-esteem was at the rock bottom. And there was a day that I wasn't well, and we women tend to be such that तबीयत कितनी भी खराब हो, हमें वो responsibility इतनी heavy होती है on our heads कि हमें उठना है, काम करना है, as Vatsala was also mentioning. So that drive from within knows that you are the only one. If you don't get up, nothing would happen. So that was there, and I got up and I was doing my regular household chores when suddenly there was a blackout, and I fainted. I was hospitalized, and there were then other formalities done. But then, and my husband was on transfer. My son was 7 years then, and my daughter not even one. This when जब मुझे होश आया ना, तो साथ में सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन ये आया कि what if I died, had I died? And the second question that came to me was, will I want to live like this? Do I want to live like this? And live like this, when I say, I don't say that I'm doing the household chores or anything of the kind, but live with uh, not even a little respect for your own self. So do I want to leave the world without respect for my own self? And that question literally shook me. I mean, I had that was the time when I actually decided that I am going to reboot my career no matter what. And I started preparing my children for that. I started preparing myself for that, because I wanted to do something in life before I die. So I could just not afford uh, this thing happening in my life. Though, yes, still, it took me 5 years to come back to the job again and take up something for myself and continue doing that for, without a break with the family support. But yes, so that was the turning point from where my strength, I became determined. I became very clear in my head that that one thing is going to happen and I'm going to make that happen. And I started preparing my personality. I started preparing my children to be managing home when I'm not there, and I used to purposely be absent for them to manage. So yes, so for them to understand that mama would not be there 24/7. My son is now 18 and my daughter has turned 11. My son Pratyaksh it has been a wonderful support, and I take this opportunity to thank my children and my family to be standing by me and in my decision. It was very, very important for me. See, I was a very homely girl, so it was very, very important for me to have their acceptance, for them to understand why I'm thinking and why I'm deciding on something. So that one thing was very, very important for me.
Power to you,
And
Nidhi. I think you are very courageous, very, very courageous, and I can totally relate to it. It takes a lot for women, to start their journey, to make their kids understand, to make their family understand. And yes, at one point of time, you thought about, कि मैं क्या करूं, how to do this before dying. I should do something for myself. That's, more power to you. I can just say this. So thank you for sharing this with us. Uh, Moving ahead, let me talk to Vatsala. So, Vatsala, as you rightly mentioned in your journey, while you were sharing your journey, that in this lockdown, when we all were, household maids also, we were working professionals also, we were a wife, we were a mother, we were a daughter, we had a lot of responsibilities. What was that one push, or what was your ice-breaking moment when you thought about joining Fitter? Vatsala, are you there?
Yeah. Okay. Am I audible? I think I was on mute. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, see, what happened was with the lockdown, all of a sudden, the canvas of L&D changed. Okay. While people felt that work from home is there and everything is there, everything can be managed, but learning and development space and the canvas moved from a classroom to a e-learning thing, right? From to a virtual world. And being at Samsung, wherein work from home was not at all a culture, moving to a virtual space, virtual canvas was extremely difficult. It demanded long working hours in terms of strategy planning, getting things done. And since it was a new job for me, and I had just joined, like in December, I joined. So I was just getting acclimatized, to the environment. So it needed more time and more effort from my end. So obviously, long working hours were there. With long working hours, uh, managing household, of course, taking care of food, taking care of cleanliness, something which you were dependent on maids for every other thing, all of a sudden you are doing. And and your kids having online classes, your husband having online work, you become, you have to wear that those multiple hats. And that's when, my health started hitting me. Being a hypertension and a blood pressure patient and everything, when I started getting bogged down with the stress that I was getting, you know I realized that, something needs to be done. One day my blood pressure shoot up like anything, right? And women specifically, when they move up the ladder and higher managerial position, the stress related illness, and diseases, they take a toll. They also increase, right? Because as Nidhi mentioned, कुछ भी हो जाए घर नहीं छूटता है. आप चाहे प्राइम मिनिस्टर बन जाओ, आके एक कप चाय भी बनानी पड़ेगी अगर आपके बच्चे ने या हस्बैंड ने मांग लिया तो. यहाँ तो कहानी ही बिल्कुल अलग थी. So I realized कि बॉस ऐसे नहीं चलेगा. I have to do something about it. And that day probably I one fine day my blood pressure was so high, I actually dumped everything on the table and I said, I can't do it. Somebody, you need to share it with me. This is not just my job, right? So both of them, my husband and my daughter, they said, "Ha, theek hai, okay," because they never saw me like that, right? And I broke down. When I broke down, I fired them, and they were like quiet. They didn't said anything. That day, all household work was done without my intervention. But somewhere in my heart, I had that question that was being a woman, and they say जो घर की लेडी होती है ना, वो सुप्रीम होती है, वही सेंटर होती है, राइट? उसके चारों तरफ सब दुनिया चलती है, and this is not the way things are gonna work. The housewives are changing and they're getting negative. This is, and since you're locked down in one house, you can't move out. You need to change yourself. You can't change others. So that was the day I decided. I randomly downloaded Fitter, which my sister was telling me, my cousin was telling me, ki kar lo, kar lo. I randomly downloaded it without even looking at, the details and everything. I enrolled under a coach, had a call with him, and I started my journey. So I told him, listen, I need to get fit. It's not about losing weight. He said, what is your goal, Vatsala? I said, I want to be fit. I want to be energetic. I want to be up and running 24 across 7. And I want to be me, because that's how I was as a kid, even, completely energetic, doing everything and taking control of my own life, because I felt that I am giving away that control to others. Yeah. To the environment, to especially the factors which were there. So giving up definitely was not a choice for me, and losing things was not there. So for women specifically, I'll again echo, they need to stay fit. They have to stay fit, because the studies have also shown that there is a direct link between fitness and brain functions. और अगर आप घर के न्यूक्लियस हो ना, सेल में न्यूक्लियस, अगर आप घर के न्यूक्लियस हो, तो आपका ब्रेन तो फंक्शन करना बहुत जरूरी है. इट इज एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट, and hence you need to stay fit. Then only you can take care of others.
Absolutely. So you women are so powerful. It is beyond imagination after listening to your stories, different perspectives. I remember a beautiful quote from Mrs. Obama. She said, there is no limit to what we as women can accomplish. We just need to have that one thought. And I can see that one thought in all three of you. So thank you so much for all of you, sharing your thoughts with us. Our audience is also enjoying. I'm just keeping a check at the comments. They are very inspiring. Even Anshul is again writing. Women have to take a Kali avatar at times, which Nidhi has taken, Vatsala has taken, and maybe Harini also has taken that Kali avatar. Yes, Anshul, you are right. We have to be Kali at times. We have to be Durga at times. Very right. So let's proceed ahead with our next round. So ladies and gentlemen, as I said, we are Facebook Live, we are Global TV Live. Let us add some spice to our talk show today. These women have been sharing their ups and downs, their journeys with us. I have some brain teasers for you, beautiful ladies, and I would request you to answer in one statement. So my first brain teaser to Harini. Best thing about a woman?
Resilience.
Wow.
If you ask me a sentence, I will give you a word.
Great. Vatsala, my question to you. Worst thing about a woman?
The fear, the boundaries that she thinks she has around her.
True to an extent. Nidhi, women are generally considered as naggers. Sorry to say this, but yes, it is a fact which is proven. So what will you say when I say that women are considered as naggers?
So I think any trait, any negative trait can be, if positively channelized, can be beautifully, immensely beneficial. So because we women take up so much on our shoulders, no? So it's that reason that we become over concerned and then finally end up into a complaint register. Yes, kyun hai, yahan hona chahiye tha, aise nahi kiya, and all of that. So I think, yes, if we channelize it in a positive direction instead of nagging others, which leaves both ends irritated, if we nag ourselves, and which will help us improvise, which will help us feel better and feel elevated, for sure. So I think nagging, yes, and then we can do away with this tag of nagging that women are naggers.
So for women, nagging is always good because that is their birthright, I believe. So Harini, my question to you, being a women HR professional, if you select two candidates, one male, one female, both at equal expertise, equal salary bracket, who would you hire?
I would hire purely by looking at the competency fit for the role. Gender is not at all a criteria. So depending on what the role is, if the person has the competency, the person goes there. I have in my career hired quite a few plant HR heads who are women, and they have been extremely successful. because they had the competency to handle different kinds of emotions that erupt in a plant, especially when there are union. I've also hired male candidates to do certain roles, like talent acquisition, which was considered to be very comfortable and safe. But I've hired male candidates because I saw a lot of analytical ability. So for me, it's always the competency fit against the role. Gender is just by the way.
While I was asking you this question, I was thinking that what answer will you give, male or female? But you chose the middle path.
Gender is just by the way. It's just by the way.
I agree. Nidhi, my question to you: best women influencer you have met so far, and why?
So see, a lot of women influence me. Even the ones who were there, my co-panelists, have influenced me. But if I say the one that whom I've met, yes, has been my mom, and I have I've been a very, very deep admirer of my mom's patience, her values, her grace that she exhibits, and she's been so wonderful. She's raised up, and I've never seen my mom shouting. I've never seen her raise her voice. She's been extremely firm with us, but never rude. And so yes, I love her a lot, and she's the first one whom I've met.
Great. So mothers are always, the best and close to the heart. Vatsala, my question to you: if you have a magical wand, what will be that one thing that you would like to change about women? I'm very eager to know this.
Make them courageous so that they start believing in themselves and loving themselves, that yes, they can do it and they are no less than men and everything is possible. The day they
Perfect.
start being courageous and valuing, everything is set.
Perfect. I think so. As we, rightly say about women that beauty and brains work together. I was thinking that you women will take at least half a minute or 1 minute to answer these questions. But you rightly say, लड़कियों का दिमाग चाचा चौधरी से भी तेज चलता है, and so are you. Great. So having discussed all these questions, I have one question in my mind, seeing this current pandemic situation, these COVID situations. This world needs compassion, empathy, and collaboration. Women are, normally said that they are enemies of each other. What would you think and what would you say about women as collaborators? Any one of you, I would like to ask you this question. Maybe Nidhi, you can start with.
So see, what I feel very strongly is probably this root of women being a dusre ke enemy and all of that comes from our past, where Sas-Bahu relationships weren't that good, or maybe Nand and Bhabhi's relationship weren't that good. So it's somewhere got picked from there, and then it's gone down the generations, and hand holding hota raha. हम baton pass करते रहे year on year to each other. But I think that with women becoming more clear in their heads, and very becoming confident over a period of time, becoming stronger over a period of time, with the thought that probably they understand each other's they understand that they're sailing in the same boat and the challenges are quite the shared ones. So I think that has helped us weave in better and collaborate with each other to be able to um, take things forward and stand for tall for our dignity and identity and purpose in life.
Right. I think very rightly said. Vatsala, what will you like to say about this?
I echo what Nidhi is mentioning. See, the society norms that have been there since ages has probably created a culture of inequality at home, right? And that inequality culture at home between male and a boy and a girl somewhere has led to sowing a seed in a girl's mind, which is more around insecurity and proving herself right. So as she grows up and move up to the career ladder in corporate sector also, that insecurity is so much that there is always a competitive feeling, be it with the male counterpart or be it with the female counterpart. And it is more shown or seen with the female counterpart because somewhere that rat race of being the best has always been there. But over a period of time and years now, for with 20 years of my career, I have seen things changing. This entire scenario is changing, because now more and more probably women have realized that, if they come together and they start collaborating and being together, handing each other's hand, uh, the entire scenery can change, the entire landscape can change, right?
Absolutely, very correct. So, Harini, what will you say about this? I'm just curious to know your viewpoint about women collaboration.
Yes, so one is again, I will take a step back and go and attack the director and not the actor. What has really brought about all this is the stereotyping. So if you take a step back and get out of stereotyping, everywhere, not only at the workplace, everywhere, do we bring up our sons and daughters alike, just like what Vatsala was mentioning. If we start there, right there, and start breaking stereotypes, then it is just about people collaborating, people who are like-minded, who are oriented towards the same goal, collaborating. It's only when the stereotyping that happens is where people start looking at things differently, from wearing different lenses and so on and so forth. So collaboration is something which will come the moment people learn to start respecting each other for whatever value they bring to the table. And when individuals of different genders need to respect value that each other bring to the table, I think we have to take a step back and attack the stereotype.
Absolutely.
Totally agree.
I echo with the thoughts of all three of you. Yes, women have to be the collaborators and things are changing. So we
Make me feel insecure now.
See, somewhere I think somewhere if we really see that all of a sudden there is a lot of talk around gender equality coming in, diversity coming in. There are videos floating that it's not about boys not liking pink or girls not liking blue. And if you really see, it again comes back to educating our boys and girls about being equal. And who takes the responsibility?
The mothers
It all starts at home. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So जब चीजें एकदम रूट लेवल पे चेंज करनी है, तो the change agent are these women, and they really need to be together. So that collaboration has to happen there, and I think we are doing it very well. Somewhere or the other, our voice is getting heard. We are listening to each other. We are working towards it, and there is less of Nand Bhabi thing and Saas Bahu thing also happening. I can see a different scenario there as well. And
Absolutely.
it's a beautiful picture coming up, and I'm sure that in coming years, down the line, our generation will probably, our kids, my daughter and your kids are gonna see, it will be a beautiful world. We are gonna be all at the same place, at same platform, standing equal.
can't agree more with you, Vatsala. Very aptly said. So, we need women who are strong so that they can be gentle, so educated that they can be humble, so fierce that they can be compassionate, so passionate that they can be rational, and so disciplined that they can be free. So, very rightly, somebody has said this. So, with this, I would like to, time is also running out. I would like to close this session, but before this, I would like to invite Sir D.K. Bakshi here, the brain behind this show, to speak a few words about the show, about powerful women. Khub khun kha, Bakshi sir, how are you doing? Welcome you here. Bakshi sir, can you hear us, please? Yes.
I think he's on mute, it seems.
Sir, you are on mute if you're trying to speak. Varsha, can you please check? He is not able to speak.
Actually, maybe he is connecting.
No, we can see him. Let's just wait for a second. I would really like him to speak at the panel because, he has been doing.
Yes, he is. He can speak.
Yeah, please, sir.
Just a moment. Hi.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
What an excitement. I have been watching you for more than an hour. I don't know what to say, but I can tell you that it has been 1 hour of listening to wonderful stories, wonderful experiential learning, and I can say, I can see Shefali, I can see Nidhi, Harni, and Vatsala. It is Shefali is simply versatile is Vatsala, natural is Nidhi, and this happy Harni. Wow. Let me give you a round of applause.
Thank you.
Amazing, amazing sharing, which I could watch. And I don't know what to say. I have no words to express my gratitude, my thanks with folded hands to all the women power, 4 of you, and including Varsha, who is supporting you. That I was just, I put some comments on the Facebook also. I was just thinking that how tough, how difficult it is for women when I heard the stories to one side maintain the house. वो कह रहे हैं ना, वो निधि कह रहे घर नहीं छूटता, वत्सला के लिए घर नहीं छूटता. My God, yes, घर नहीं छूटता, but at the same time fighting those all odds, getting back to the corporate world and again rebooting, rebuilding, re-establishing, and saying that, hey, we are there and I am ready to rock. It is easy when we say this. It is tough when we do it. And when we do it, there's a lot of pain. And that pain is always followed by gain. Pain is always followed by gain. Remember it. So I am seeing in each one of you beautiful ladies here, see the beauty of yours, how charming you are, how beautiful each one of you are showcasing yourself to the world who are watching you now and who are going to be watching you later around the world in all the countries. The stories what you shared has been phenomenal. And when I was looking at your last comments, you said, someone said change agent. Absolutely. You don't need man to empower you. You are yourself empowered women. The mom at home is the biggest change agent. And I can see, I thought that you people are not married when I looked at Nidhi and Vatsa and you say you have, my daughter is born in 2012 and I am in 2021. I thought you are unmarried girls, you know. So, and then you say you got so
Big
much,
compliment for us, sir.
That's a big compliment, sir.
you say you have so much of tough situations. When I was listening about this Samsung girl, Samsung is Vatsala.
Excellent. Yes, sir.
Vatsala, where you work in Greater Noida, Noida, with whom you work?
Noida Sector 62, sir.
With whom?
I'm in HR. I'm handling, I'm reporting
Who's
to
your boss?
Arnav.
Oh, okay, wonderful. So when I see this thing happening, so many miseries, but then Paul is not a failure. It is only when you do not get up again. And you got up again and you're there. And you said that, when Ernie was talking about her story about the man, where, finally at the lunch table, she had an issue and finally she said, I'm sorry. And the same person became the champion of change for her actions in the organization. Ernie, this is what is life. At the end of the day, we are born in the same way. We all have emotions and sentiments of similar kind. the color, the gender, the nationality, the religion does not matter. We have all, COVID must have taught a lot of people this. If they had not been taught during COVID, then I don't know what will happen. That we are all equal people, whether you are an HR head, HR director, or you are a minister, you are a prime minister, you are a sweeper, or you are a mason, or you are a carpenter, or you are a PN. You're all same. And especially on the hashtag Women Power, a global movement, I am really excited to get your simply, beautifully stories of excellence. And I call it stories of excellence. You will see that out of the story sharing what you have done today, many people in the world will learn from these stories. My objective of this for 2021 is storytelling, 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 storytelling to the entire world. And at the end of the day, I would like this women empowerment, which we talk about women power, 100,000 women to be on board by 2021 and 1 million by 2024 to be driven by women, to be driven by women, to be driven by women. You must respect Dr. Kiran Bedi, who was our first, give a big round of applause for Dr. Kiran Bedi, who was our first women power on this movement, which we started in April 2020. And we have actually done a lot of great work on this. I'm thankful to each one of you for your wonderful contribution, your simple stories, telling how did you do it, how tough it was, even then you got up, you went for that interview was, you thought you will not be selected. Oh my God, what stories. And high BP, and you kept everything on the table. I can't do it, you know. I would request through this forum today, there are a lot of people who are watching us now. We are live, and we're going to watch us later. Please spread the message around the world that this hashtag Women Power is to do with every common woman in the world, irrespective of whatever level, whatever color, whatever religion she is. Let's get more and more storytelling on this. Unfortunately, we are still on the digital mode. I am not a man of digital mode. I am a man into action. Samson, a lot of people know me. And Sam, I'm a man of action, but I have also got used to this box. I don't know when I break this box. I keep on writing on my status, lota de mere beete hue din. And I'm sure today is a great day in the country for us. We have created a history in the world. Mr. Narendra Modi has created history in the world. This is going to be historical. Western nation started ever in the world. So I think we are going to be moving out of this COVID. We are going to be going face to face. We are going to be meeting people. We're going to be hugging people. We're going to be eating with people. You know, when I always say, when you work with people, you learn with people, you earn with people, you dance with people, you eat with people, and you cry with people. Unfortunately, in COVID, we did not have an opportunity of crying together face to face. We lost a lot of people in our lives who should have not got so soon, and we could not even support them. Having said that, my special thanks to the moderator of this evening, Chef Ali Sengel. This is Chef Ali Sengel. I call her 10S and 10W. She is Women of Wings, and she is 10S. A lot of S's have got connected to her. I did not know this lady. I came to know only during COVID, and she made me to do a program called COVID Ability. And I have created a competency called COVID Ability. It's available on social media. In case it's not with you, you can't get it, ask Chef Ali or Varsha. They will send you. There's a beautiful COVID Ability competency which I have launched, which I'm sharing with the world. And this is going to be phenomenally very great for all of us. So Chef Ali, from the core of my heart, I would like to thank you very much for
All
being
my
there,
pleasure, sir.
moderating it so beautifully, so wonderfully. I'm really grateful to you. And then, Nidhi, क्या बताऊं मैं आपको? you have been you have been really wonderful in your thoughts, in your sharing your
Thank you
journey.
so much.
It has been a very enriching journey for me personally to look at what you shared. And thank you very much being part of this hashtag Women Power Global moment
Thank you
today.
so very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Vatsala, I mean, you fall, you got up, you fall, you got up, you fall, you got up. But in case you don't get up, that means a failure. So what you showed to the world through your experiential learning, which you shared today, is that to fall is not a failure. It's only when you do not get up again. You got up and went ahead. And last one, Hirani, is always happy and smiling. And her smile has been on last 1 hour. I have been seeing that. All the 32 teeth I have been looking at. And your amazing story again touched my heart. I would like to thank Vatsala. I'll thank Hirani for contribution. And I would like you to think about this hashtag Women Power Global moment. And please share, spread this around the world.
Definitely.
My role in this entire process, I have been known as Honorable Woman. I've been titled as an Honorable Woman. And my role is to take it forward to an extent, but I am giving away Saturdays. Anshul has taken Saturday from me from Mumbai. Shefali has taken Saturday, and in the global world, people are already doing it. And I would like to do finally only one Saturday. And I'm still doing 2 Saturdays in a month because Wednesday I do DNA of leadership. I have no, I mean, I don't know. मैं तो एक ही चीज कहूंगा एंड पे खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना वीमेन पावर खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तदबीर से पहले खुदा वीमन से पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है बता तेरी रजा क्या है बता तेरी रजा क्या है make yourself so powerful that people can only talk to you as women power. And I want to tell you, and this is a fact of life, there are witnesses to this. Since the time I started this women power, whenever people are interacting with each other, they say, she's women power, na? She's women power, na? Even on Facebook, even in our programs, she's women power, na? So this women power has actually become a good name in the world. And you are the women power. And you need to drive it. And you yourself said, we need to start. We are the change agents as moms at home. Because today, in case Nidhi and Varsha and Shefali and Hirni are talking at home to the children, to your daughters, you are the women power, the universe is listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's giving you back that you are the women power. You are the women power. Thanks a ton. And I wish to wish you all, your families, your teams, and the entire human race a great happy new year 2021 after a tough 2020. And I always share these days from 1st of January to everyone. Please declare that this is going to be one of the best year of my life. Declare this is going to be one of the best years of my life. And please tell the world to declare. So whomsoever you are wishing, say Happy New Year 2021. Please declare that this is going to be one of the best years of my life. And please share with the people, this is going to be one of the best years of your life. Let's make a movement. And this will be one of the best years of our life. BC, AC. Before COVID, during COVID, we are still in during COVID, but today is the first day when people will be after COVID, those who have already been injected. So we have to look at after COVID so that one day I can go to Ahmedabad. I have many clients, they want me to come there. I can meet maybe over a cup of coffee or a lunch. Vatsala,
Sure.
of course,
It'll be a pleasure to host you here in Ahmedabad.
Vatsala is Noida, and Hirni is in Mumbai, is it?
Yes.
Mumbai also, I have many clients, and now I am more into India. So India is the groundwork for next one decade where India will be the powerful place in the world. With that mission of women power, a global moment, my best wishes, and from the core of my heart, thank you, ladies, for contribution.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good
Thank
luck.
you, sir. And thank you all of us, all of you for joining us today. Thank you, our attendees. Thank you, our panelists. And thank you, sir, for your golden words and again motivating all of us. Yes, we are sure that we are there and we'll make this movement happen. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Right. Thank you, Shefali.
Thank you, Shwali.
Thank you.
For calling us.
Shefali, take
Platform. Thanks, Mr. Bakshi. Thanks a lot.
Okay, bye-bye.